It took me a year to win over my sweet CEO boyfriend, and I got bored in just 3 months. To get him to break up with me, I started giving him the cold shoulder. Eric, what are you up to? Can I come see you? Eric, why aren't you replying? Me, I'm a bit tired, planning to sleep. Let's not meet up recently. Eric, turn around. Eric, I'm at your 10 o'clock. At midnight, I was at a bar with my bestie, Lily, watching male models dance. I don't think they dance as well as yesterday's batch. What do you think? I nudged Lily. She was too absorbed to answer. My phone buzzed. I glanced at it. An Instagram notification popped up. What are you doing? Can I come see you? I wasn't planning to reply, but before I could turn off the screen, another message popped up. Why aren't you replying? I shut the phone and kept watching the guys dance. Maybe because I wasn't responding, Eric video called me. I scowled and hung up. He quickly sent a text. Why aren't you replying? Crying teddy bear emoji. I thought for a bit, then typed a message. I'm a little tired, planning to sleep. Let's not meet up recently. He replied instantly with several messages. Turn around. I'm at your 10 o'clock. I froze with my finger on the power button. Lily peeked over, confused. A few seconds later, she quietly turned her head, grabbed her bag, and left. My dad's working with Eric right now. I should go. Watching her leave, I turned stiffly, and there was Eric raising a glass, smirking at me. He was with some friends, all familiar faces. I quickly recovered and walked over gracefully, greeting them all. Good evening, everyone. Then I sat down next to Eric. What brought you to the bar tonight? He swirled his drink, giving me a long look. If I hadn't come, how would I know you were lying to me? My smile faltered. He continued, so, who caught your eye? Following his gaze, I saw the male dancers on stage. The air felt tense, and Eric's friends began to take their leave. Feeling embarrassed, I got a little annoyed. But before I could react, Eric was already walking away. Thinking it through, I decided to follow him. In the car, the atmosphere was heavy. Eric gripped the steering wheel, silent. Sorry, I didn't mean to lie to you, I said, awkwardly scratching my head. He turned to me, eyes no longer warm like they used to be, waiting for me to continue. Feeling cornered, I just admitted it. I'll be honest, I lied on purpose. Seeing Eric's disbelief, I felt weirdly self-assured. You've probably heard of me, right? I'm not exactly loyal. Before you, none of my relationships lasted over a month. You're an exception. Sure, you're the best-looking boyfriend I've had, but what good is that? You won't let me touch you. I looked him up and down, feeling more justified, and my tone became firmer. I really liked your innocent persona, but we've been together 3 months. I'm getting bored. This is why you've been avoiding me for half a month? So you've been playing me this whole time? Eric's face turned stone cold. I nodded, then shook my head. Not really, I'm getting out. Eric looked away. I wanted to say more, but he didn't give me a chance. Before I knew it, I was standing on the side of the road. The black Rolls-Royce sped past me, leaving a mix of feelings in my chest. I'd chased Eric for over a year, dated for 3 months. This was the first time he got mad at me. A year ago, at a business gala, his striking appearance caught my eye. I found out he was the youngest booth, recently back from abroad. Maybe it was my bad reputation, but he kept his distance. I worked hard to win him over. What attracted me most was his aloofness that stirred my desire to conquer. Eric's life was clean, no smoking or drinking, and he never stayed out late. But he never let me touch him, insisting we'd get married first. Every time he said it, he was so sincere. Maybe he really did want to marry me. But he didn't know I never thought about marriage. As soon as I got home, my phone rang. It was Lily's nosy voice. So, did you break up? I nodded, then realized she couldn't see me and added, yeah, we're done. Thinking back on Eric's attitude, I guess it was a breakup. Lily sighed. Honestly, what's wrong with Eric besides being a few years younger? He's handsome, rich, much better than those guys who only want your money. You went through all that trouble to get him, and you're already over it? You're kind of a jerk. I sighed. You don't understand, he wanted to get married. The line went silent for a moment. Doesn't he know you're against marriage? We talked a bit more before I hung up to take a shower. Eric's stuff was still on my bathroom counter, but I decided not to throw it away. The next time I saw Eric was half a month later. I had organized my grandpa's 70th birthday. Though I had invited the Booths, I didn't expect Eric to come. After all, our breakup wasn't exactly friendly. Under the sparkling lights, he was in a well-tailored dark suit, tall and broad. He quickly caught everyone's eye. Isn't that the Booth family's second son? Such a dashing guy. Eric politely chatted with those who approached. I looked away and helped my grandpa greet the guests. Just then, a familiar voice echoed through the hall. As they approached, I finally saw his face. It was my cheap dad Richard bringing along my cheap stepmom and cheap little brother Alex. I instinctively stood in front of my grandpa. What are you doing here? Jessica, what are you saying? Richard stepped forward with a smile plastered on his face. I'm your dad, after all. Today's your grandpa's birthday, so of course, I'm here to celebrate. He handed over a gift box as he spoke. Grandpa frowned, looking at him without any intention of taking the gift. After a brief moment of awkwardness, Richard suddenly pulled Alex in front of him. Alex, come on, wish your grandpa a happy birthday. Alex, who's 18 and quite rebellious, reluctantly murmured a happy birthday to Grandpa. I appreciate your gesture, but please leave now. Grandpa nodded sternly, then turned to me. Jessica, I'm a bit tired and need to rest. Thanks for hosting the guests. With that, he headed upstairs with his cane. Richard's smile froze as soon as he heard Grandpa's words. Mr. Richard, I'm sure you heard what Grandpa said. I'll accept the gift on his behalf. Please see yourself out. What do you mean? I'm still your dad, and this is my home too. Richard's smile started to crack. With everyone looking our way, I was getting a bit impatient. Guests are guests. I don't want to make this ugly. Besides, if I remember correctly, you didn't get an invitation, did you? Humph. Richard's face darkened completely. Do I need your permission to return to my own home? Yeah, Jessica, are you really going to kick your dad and brother out? Chimed in my stepmom, Daisy, raising her voice deliberately. Her words drew more attention, and some nosy guests started to gather around. Thinking she'd won, Daisy looked quite smug. I smiled slightly. And what position does Aunt Daisy have to question me? Before she could respond, I continued, formally speaking, I'm the current heir to the Greens. And you, given your position. I glanced her up and down, clicking my tongue. Are you in a position to question me? Privately, you're the woman my dad cheated on during his marriage, so you definitely have no standing here. Daisy pointed at me furiously. Jessica, is that how you speak to your elders? I ignored her, letting my gaze slide past her face to the crowd, maintaining a polite smile. Sorry for the scene, everyone. But on this special occasion, let me clarify some things. Everyone in the city knows I, Jessica, was personally chosen by Grandpa as his heir. The Greens' assets are all under my name. I slowly let the smile fade. As for my father, Richard, he was expelled from the Greens a decade ago and cut ties with Grandpa, choosing to live abroad. Nods of agreement rippled through the crowd. Yeah, I remember that scandal. Heard it was about an affair, and it even led to the death of his wife. How does he have the nerve to come back? Hearing the murmurs, Richard was furious, glaring at me. No matter what, I'm still your father. I deserve a share of the Greens. Ah, so it's money you're after. Looks like you burned through what you took when you left and now want more. I gave him a disdainful look. Let me put it this way. The Greens only consists of Grandpa and me now. If anyone dares misuse the Green's name to stir up trouble, I'll hold them accountable. Security, show them the door. Just then, a figure rushed toward me. Alex had somehow gotten hold of a fruit knife and charged at me like a madman, eyes full of fury. Who the hell are you to fight me for inheritance? The security guards tried to intervene but were too far away. Alex moved fast. I couldn't avoid him in time and instinctively closed my eyes. The expected pain didn't come. Instead, the sound of people gasping and the faint scent of blood filled my senses. I opened my eyes suddenly to see a heavily bleeding hand. Looking up, I met a pair of piercing eyes. Are you okay? We both asked at the same time. Eric paused. I'm fine. I glanced at his hand dripping with blood. You should get that wrapped up. I'll have my assistant take you to the hospital. Before I finished, a well-dressed woman hurriedly grabbed Eric's hand, full of worry. Yen Zhao, go start the car and get your brother to the hospital. Eric didn't reply, just looked at me. Will you be okay here? Noticing his face getting paler, I urged him, I can handle this. Go to the hospital now. As Eric's silhouette faded, I turned back to whispering onlookers and spoke up. Sorry for the family drama. I apologize if you're inconvenienced. Please allow me to host another event another time. Once the crowd dispersed, I dropped the polite act completely, looking down at Alex, who was restrained by security. If I remember correctly, you're an adult now, right? Attempted murder, I wonder how many years you'd get? You're just getting cocky. I know it's you who set Grandpa against my parents. Alex spat with anger. I'm part of the Greens too. I deserve a share. Daisy knelt in front of me. Jessica, your brother is young, just acting on impulse. Please, don't hold it against him. Young, still at his age. Nice try, Auntie. Are you kidding me? Lily came running over, looking me up and down, relieved. Even while catching her breath, she mocked Daisy. I leave for a minute, and your son almost ends Jessica. You really call that acting on impulse? What a joke. If I'm impulsive now, does that mean I can kill you and not face jail? And what's your problem? Richard yelled, restrained by security, glaring at me. Jessica, is this how you pick your friends? No respect for elders at all. What elders? I chuckled, clenching then releasing my fists. Suddenly, I kicked Alex hard twice. He trembled in pain. Remember, you're just an illegitimate child who'll never be in the spotlight. Don't ever covet things that aren't yours. Take her to the police station. With that, I turned around and left, ignoring the chaos behind me. Daisy's yelling faded into the distance. I rubbed my temples, feeling exhausted. I can't believe your dad's family dared to come back. Lily frowned and said. I sighed, I got careless today and let them ruin Grandpa's birthday celebration. That wasn't your fault. My phone rang suddenly, and Lily took a call then hurried off. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the chat box with Eric for a long time before slowly typing a message and sending it. Thanks for today. How's your injury? Eric quickly sent a voice message. I opened it. The doctor said I'm fine. His familiar voice caught me off guard for a moment. Just as I was about to put my phone down, another voice message popped up. My mom insists I stay with her for a while. Could you go to my apartment and take care of the cat I have there? She's scared of cats, so I can't bring it over. I thought about it and replied that I could. Thanks, its name is Bingo. The next morning, I drove Eric's flashy red sports car to his apartment. As soon as I opened the door, a fluffy white cat sprinted towards me and rubbed against my leg. I crouched down and studied the cat. I never heard Eric liked cats. He must have gotten it after we broke up. Are you Bingo? I reached out and petted its furry head. Bingo seemed to understand and meowed a few times before running off in a direction. It stopped by a small bowl, looked up at me, and meowed again. I got closer and saw the bowl was empty. Oh, you're hungry. I looked around and found some cat food on the shelf to feed it, then put it in the pet carrier and headed home. To take good care of it, I told someone to set up a little home for it in the corner of my room. After all, its owner got hurt because of me, so taking care of it might ease my guilt a little. The company is working on a project and the partner wanted to meet at a golf course. By the time I arrived, there was already someone standing in the center of the course. Tall figure, dressed in gray casual clothes. After making a hole in one, he turned around. A familiar face. My first love, Mark. Long time no see. I was a bit surprised, calmly walked over, and extended my hand to him. Long time no see, Mr. Mark. If you don't mind, we can sit over there and chat. He agreed easily. Under a nearby pavilion, Mark and I sat across from each other. Noticing he had reached the last page of the documents, I spoke up. What do you think, Mr. Mark? Mark didn't reply, he just signed his name with a flourish. I took the document from him and smiled as I extended my hand. Here's to a successful partnership. He didn't shake my hand, but instead, silently looked at me. It's been a while. Don't you have anything to say to me? Seeing my confusion, he added, my family is arranging a marriage for me. I was stunned. Mark was practically my first love. When I was 5, my parents were getting a divorce. I saw Daisy arguing with my mom and accidentally pushing her off the 3rd floor. No one believed me. With Richard covering for her, Daisy successfully entered the Greens family. From then on, I began a long period of suffering. Whenever she felt upset, Daisy used me to vent her anger. She had a very fine silver needle that hurt a lot but left no wounds. Maybe because of long-term suppression, I became withdrawn and irritable. Being antisocial, boys often put ink in my water cup, but I dumped the whole thing over their heads. Afterward, the teacher demanded in front of the whole class that I apologize to the boy. I poured the remaining ink on him instead. As a result, I became known as a bad student among teachers and students. But Mark was different. He was the top student, handsome with excellent grades, and the recognized prince of the school. As time passed, I grew up. Daisy still verbally and physically abused me, but I learned to fight back. When she used the needle, I covered her bed with them. I remember she was covered in blood when she came to confront me that day. She'd pull my hair and slam my head onto the ground. I didn't fight back. Because that day, I was on a video call with Grandpa. That's how Daisy's vile face got exposed to everyone. Grandpa already felt guilty about my mom's death. Richard was expelled along with Daisy for defending her and disrespecting Grandpa. I was so happy that night I bought a cake and celebrated at my mom's grave. On my way back, I passed an alley filled with dozens of our school's delinquents. It was too far to see clearly, but it seemed like someone was trapped in the middle. I hesitated for a moment, but rushed in. After knocking the 5th person's head, I wiped a trickle of blood from my forehead. Who's next? They started getting scared. Maybe they were shocked by my fierce fighting style. Once they all ran off, I saw the bullied person more clearly. It was Mark. So good students get bullied too, huh? I turned to leave. But Mark stopped me. He seemed a bit afraid. Aren't you going to the hospital? That's how we started our interactions. He helped me with my studies after that, and my grades slowly improved. But Daisy's trauma didn't disappear. My manic depression would often act up. I'd stand up and flip my desk while the teacher was passionately teaching. So, everyone thought I had mental issues, but not Mark. I guess it was because I saved him. We entered the same high school, and later got accepted to the same university. In our freshman year, Mark confessed, and I accepted. We were together for 4 years without many arguments because Mark always accommodated me. Before graduation, I broke up with him. 'Cause I stumbled upon the fact that Mark was planning to propose to me. When I found out, I was shocked and confused, but not thrilled. I'm scared of marriage. Or maybe, I'm too afraid to take the risk. I can't tell Mark that I'm not exactly normal, that I have bipolar episodes that I can't even control. Maybe Mark could tolerate me for 3 years, 5 years, or even 10. But who can guarantee he'll love me forever? Not long after, Mark went abroad following his family's plan. I smoothly took over the greens from my grandpa. The flashbacks ended. Back to reality, I smiled and said, "Well, congratulations." Ignoring the look on Mark's face, I stood up to leave. "Jessica." I paused. "I know you really like Eric." I frowned. "You went all out to pursue him, only to break up with him so soon after. Let me guess, did he propose to you too?" "Enough." I was a bit annoyed. "This is my personal business." Mark's breath brushed my neck as he spoke in a low voice next to me. "You're scared he'll find out about your condition, right? Wasn't this the real reason you broke up with me back then?" "Shut up." I sharply turned around and covered his mouth, my eyes fierce. "My business is none of your concern." I quickly left after saying that. "Jessica, your only choice can be me. Until I'm engaged, you always have the chance to change your mind." Mark's voice came from behind, and I sped up. Maybe his words dug up some buried, not so great memories, and I felt my bipolar disorder creeping back. I worked hard to suppress the urge to push the gas pedal, breaking out in a cold sweat. This feeling of losing control had been absent for a long time. Home, I took out my meds, but the frustration inside hadn't eased. Splashing cold water on my face, I slowly calmed down. I accidentally knocked over a jar of cream with my elbow. I watched it roll across the floor, breaking into pieces. Minutes later, I suddenly swiped everything off the bathroom counter. Then I charged back to the bedroom, wrecked a bit more, and then collapsed on the floor. Covering my face, I burst into tears. A soft meow broke the silence. I looked over to see Bingo curled up in the corner. Stunned, I quickly went over to scoop him up, petting him and apologizing. "Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you." The delayed guilt hit me, but my emotions were beyond my control. I leaned against the bed holding the cat, and drifted off to sleep. In the middle of the night, a knock on the door jolted me awake, followed by the sound of the door opening. Startled, I realized my phone was nowhere to be found and guessed from the dark outside, it was late night. It being a fancy neighborhood usually with good security, this seemed unusual. I grabbed a lamp to defend myself as I carefully moved towards the door. The handle began to turn. My heart pounded. The moment the door opened, I swung the lamp forward. Only to be stopped by a force, and suddenly the lights came on, blinding me momentarily but enough to recognize Eric. "Almost forgot, he has the fingerprint code to get in here. I called you so many times but got no answer, so I came to check," he explained, concern etched on his face, as he scanned the room in surprise. "What happened here?" His eyes took in my disheveled state. "My phone's misplaced, so I missed your calls." "You're here for Bingo, right?" "He's sleeping in his bed, take him." I moved to retrieve Bingo, but he caught my wrist. Eric searched my eyes for something while I shifted uncomfortably. He held my face and asked, "You've been crying?" "No." "Why the tears?" I said I wasn't crying. I batted his hands away, stepping back. Stumbling over something, I toppled forward. Eric caught my fall like a human cushion. "Sorry." I quickly got up, offering a hand to him. He rose to his feet with a bottle in his hand. Olanzapine. Panic jolted through me, I snatched the bottle back. "You," he started, but I interrupted, my voice rising. "Yes, I'm bipolar. I've got a mental illness. Happy now? If so, get your cat and leave me alone." Tears uncontrollably streamed down, as I wiped my face haphazardly. Eric pulled me into a hug. His familiar scent surrounded me, making me freeze. I pushed away, but he held me closer. "So, that's why you really broke up with me?" I stopped breathing for a second. "What are you saying?" "The night you broke up with me, I thought about it all night." He paused. "Ever since I proposed, you'd been distant." I said nothing, and Eric went on, Are you afraid your bipolar disorder will make us not work? He suddenly laughed softly, and I looked up confused. Jessica, do you really have so little faith in me? Haven't you noticed, since we've been together, you haven't had an episode? Otherwise, how could you have hidden it from me this long? I considered this and realized it was true, my bipolar episodes hadn't occurred since I started seeing Eric, with only minor irritability that was manageable. Being out of control like today hadn't happened in ages. Seeing my surprise, Eric leaned closer, his lips near my ear. Maybe there's a chance. I'm your cure. I shoved him away. Don't act like you know everything about me. He chuckled. Oh? Do I not know you well enough? You said you fell for me at first sight. Isn't it because I'm different from other men you've met? I'm simple, easily fooled, super handsome, and, let's not forget, younger. Jessica, isn't this why you like me? Eric's lips curled into a playful smile. How do you know that? I blurted out unconsciously. Heh, I thought you liked innocent younger guys, but your breakup reason was that I wouldn't let you touch me. I misjudged this. He stepped closer, and I had nowhere to retreat. Jessica, can we not break up? The man in front of me had eyes so deep they almost drowned me. Eric stared intently and said, word for word, I like you for who you are, all of you. You didn't even wait to hear me out before stubbornly denying me. Jessica, that's not fair. Hot tears fell onto my eyelashes, making me shiver. Instinctively, I reached out to touch his face, gently wiping away the tears. Don't cry. Even now, I remember the look in Mark's eyes the first time he saw my medical record. Shocked, confused, unbelieving. And there was something else in his gaze. So, Eric, can I really trust your words? Is there really someone who would accept a partner with a mental illness? I don't know. The answer is in the future. I'm just a traveler passing through a long tunnel of time, a gambler among many in this world. This time, I want to take a chance. Eric's lips felt cool, calming my restless emotions. Didn't you say before that you wanted to slide down my abs like a slide? His husky voice suddenly whispered in my ear, and Eric looked at me seriously. When did I say that? Didn't I? Just as I was about to protest, my hand was pressed against a broad chest. I instinctively gave it a pat. All right, let's just say I did. I'm back with Eric. In the morning, I opened my eyes to find Eric tidying up the room. Eric, do you want to know why I developed bipolar disorder? I suddenly asked. He paused. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. I shook my head and started recounting years of experiences, including what happened when I met Mark yesterday. In the end, I summed it up. So do you think I was unfair to Mark when I broke up with him? When I ended things back then, our mutual friends all criticized me, and some even cut ties with me. My emotions were on the verge of breaking. But for some reason, I really wanted to know what Eric thought. Huh. I heard a chuckle suddenly, and looked over, puzzled. Eric scoffed. You don't really think he truly loved you, do you? Wasn't it love? Just sympathy. If he really loved you, why would he run abroad without asking why when you broke up? I hadn't thought of it that way before. I fell into deep thought. Suddenly, a well-defined hand appeared in front of me. Eric smiled at me. I'm done tidying up, let's go. I'll take you out for lunch. After lunch, Eric went with me to see a psychiatrist. After learning that my bipolar disorder had relapsed, the doctor suggested I get out more and relax, not put too much pressure on myself. So the next day, Eric insisted we go to the neighboring city to hike. We watched the sunrise from the mountaintop. As the first ray of morning sunlight touched my face, I felt incredibly warm. Our next stop was an amusement park, and it was my first time on a roller coaster. When it ended, Eric was pale as a sheet. Just as I was about to comfort him, my phone rang. It was my grandpa's butler calling. As soon as I answered, the butler urgently said, Miss, you need to come back to the old house. Richard brought Daisy over for a scene, and they refused to leave. In the car, Eric seemed to notice my urgency. He patted my hand. don't worry, your dad and the others wouldn't dare harm Grandpa. I nodded, but inside, I regretted not being more forceful, not insisting Grandpa had bodyguards. Richard was visiting Grandpa only because Alex was sentenced to 8 years for attempted murder. Unable to get my forgiveness, they're now trying to get to me through Grandpa. The moment I stepped in, I saw Richard holding a vase in front of Grandpa, while Jack stood protectively in front of him. What are you doing? I instinctively lifted my foot and kicked. Richard fell to the ground, clutching his chest. The vase shattered, pieces scattering everywhere. I rushed to check on Grandpa. Grandpa, are you all right? Grandpa shook his head, looking at Richard with disappointment. Old man. Ask yourself, Alex is your grandson too, why can't you save him? Daisy looked sorrowful, but in her eyes was a hint of malice. Aren't you afraid of retribution for favoring Jessica like this? Shut up. I shouted furiously, slapping Daisy hard across the face. You bitch. How dare you hit me? She clutched her face and charged at me. I scanned the room briefly, my eyes landing on the fruit knife in the corner of the coffee table. Who's the real bitch? You killed my mom, today let's settle both new and old grudges. I spoke, reaching for the fruit knife. A hand stopped me. Eric pulled my hand back. Jessica, calm down. A surge of irritation rose in me, and I fought to keep my anger in check, meeting his gaze. Let go. Just then, Grandpa suddenly started coughing violently. Jessica, I rushed to kneel in front of Grandpa. Jessica, drive them out. There were tears in Grandpa's eyes. I nodded, about to speak, when Grandpa's head suddenly drooped, and he fainted. Grandpa, what's wrong? I was at a loss, but Eric had already dialed 911. Outside the operating room, I paced back and forth. Eric finally couldn't stand it anymore and came up to hold me during my 35th round. I've had the afternoon footage retrieved. Grandpa fainted due to shock. Their behavior is already illegal. I understand how you feel, but please don't hurt yourself. I'm sorry. But I couldn't help it. Just now, I really wanted to just charge in there and finish Daisy off. Looking back on it, it was pretty scary. Right then, the lights in the operating room dimmed, and the doctor walked out. I hurried over. Doctor, how's my grandpa doing? The patient had a stroke triggered by stress. He's out of danger now, but you'll need to be extra careful. He can't be stressed anymore. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. I reviewed the surveillance footage. At first, Richard and Daisy were just begging Grandpa to let Alex go, but he wouldn't agree. Then they started insulting me, and when Grandpa stood up for me, they even tried to hit him with a vase. I hadn't been that angry in a long time. If Eric hadn't stopped me, I might have gone over and smashed a vase right over their heads. Once I calmed down, I immediately contacted my assistant to detain Richard and his wife, so they wouldn't escape. A few days later in the evening, I went to visit Grandpa at the hospital. He was awake, sitting up in bed reading a book. I sat down to chat with him, and suddenly he said, Jessica, I know you never liked your dad because of your mom, and so you're not close to Grandpa either. Grandpa. He patted my hand and continued, that day, when you picked up the fruit knife, I almost lost my breath. I've always known about your bipolar disorder. I was a bit shocked. I get it, you don't want anyone to know, so you've kept it to yourself. But Jessica, since Grandpa handed the company to you, you should know I trust you. So from now on, don't do anything you'll regret. And remember, there's no need to feel ashamed. It's not a big deal, you're my granddaughter from the Greens. Who would dare look down on you? Whatever you want to do, go for it. Richard hasn't been exactly upright overseas these past years. He started a small company, but for various reasons, his funds dried up. He had no choice but to return home with his wife and kids. These things are easily discovered, and with his illegal entry and harassment of an elderly person, it was effortless for me to have him locked up. As for Daisy, she'll have to live with the double torture of losing her son and husband forever. I don't even have to do anything, she's already gone mad. The days after were relatively calm. After Grandpa was released from the hospital, Eric and I got engaged. On the recommendation of my therapist, we planned to travel the world. We kissed on snow-capped mountains, danced with fish in the sea, and rode horses across endless prairies. Our last stop was a small town in Switzerland. The flowers by the road were in full bloom, and I held up my camera to take a selfie with Eric. Move in a bit closer. After snapping the photo, I was pleased as I admired it. By dusk, the sunset bathed our shadowed figures.